In a snowy city, on the edge of a quiet park, there stood an old little building with a sign that read, "Animal Shelter." Inside it was chilly, but it smelled like food, warmth, and maybe a little bit of hope. There lived a small gray kitten named Whiskers. His fur was soft as snow, and his green eyes were like tiny drops of hope. Every day he sat by the window and watched people walk by with packages, shiny decorations, and sparkly lights. Whiskers didn't know what Christmas was, but he saw people smiling, hugging, and carrying something warm and glowing into their homes. Other animals at the shelter slept, dreaming of new families, but Whiskers just watched the night and whispered, "Maybe there's a home for me too." One frosty evening, as the sky filled with heavy snow clouds, the door to the shelter suddenly opened. A man in a red hat stepped inside. His face was dusted with snow, and over his shoulder hung a large bag with pine branches sticking out. Miss Olivia, the volunteer on duty, looked up in surprise. Visitors were rare this late. "I'm looking for someone who could be a true friend," the man said gently. He walked past the dog cages and the playful kittens until his eyes met Whiskers. The little cat sat still, gazing deep into the stranger's eyes, as if asking, "Are you mine?" The man smiled, placed his hand gently on the glass, as if making a promise, and then quietly left, leaving behind the scent of pine and oranges. That night, Whiskers couldn't sleep. He dreamed of the kind man in the red hat and the warmth that had lingered on the glass. The next morning, the city was buried under soft snow. The roads disappeared under white blankets, and shiny snowflakes kept falling. At the shelter, everyone talked about Christmas coming soon. Miss Olivia decorated a corner with an old garland, and even the animals seemed more cheerful. But Whiskers sat at the window, watching the falling snow. In his heart, a dream was growing, not just of a home, but of lying under a glowing Christmas tree, hearing someone say gently, "Whiskers, dinner's ready." What he didn't know was that at that very moment, the man in the red hat was also thinking of him, standing at a toy shop, picking out a silver ornament shaped like a kitten's paw. Christmas Eve arrived. The shelter was silent, with only the hallway clock counting down the minutes to midnight. Miss Olivia had gone home, leaving warm milk in the bowls and the soft glow of twinkling lights. Snow kept falling. Wind tapped gently at the windows. Whiskers couldn't sleep. He felt something magical was about to happen, and it did. Suddenly, the shelter door opened quietly. The man in the red hat stepped in, holding a box wrapped with ribbon. He paused near the window as if unsure. Whiskers stood up, took a few steps toward him, and let out a soft meow. That tiny sound melted the silence like candlelight melts ice. "Still waiting, little one?" the man smiled. He gently opened the cage, and Whiskers took his first steps into the world beyond the shelter. A world filled with the scent of pine, oranges, and hope. When the man opened the door to his house, Whiskers froze in wonder. A warm golden glow lit up everything around. In the middle of the room stood a tall Christmas tree, covered in sparkling ornaments, ribbons, and twinkling lights like stars. Boxes sat under the tree, and a cozy fire crackled in the fireplace. Whiskers stepped onto the soft rug, sniffed the pine scent, and looked around. It felt like a dream. "This is your home now, my friend," the man said, taking off his red hat. His name was Mr. Peter, and he had lived alone since his old cat passed away the year before. But now, looking at Whiskers, he felt a warm light inside his heart again. The kitten carefully approached the tree, touched the silver ornament with his paw, and purred softly. as if thanking the stars. As the clock neared midnight, Mr. Peter lit candles, and Whiskers curled up under the tree where the silver ornament shimmered gently. He touched it with his nose, and at that moment, a soft breeze whispered through the room, as if someone had made a wish. The lights on the tree glowed brighter, and the ornament shone with a moon-like warmth. Whiskers closed his eyes and thought of all the animals still waiting at the shelter. In his little heart, he made a silent wish. Let every animal find a warm home. Meanwhile, Mr. Peter raised a cup of warm milk and whispered, "Merry Christmas, my friend." The ornament kept glowing softly, listening to their hearts, and far away at the shelter, garlands began to twinkle one by one, and a bright star sparkled above the roof. At sunrise, the whole town woke up to a soft pink glow. Snow sparkled like diamonds, and the air smelled of cinnamon and happiness. Mr. Peter opened the door, and Whiskers peeked out curiously. On the streets, people carried baskets of food and warm blankets toward the animal shelter. It all started this morning, Mr. Peter smiled. Someone left a note by the town Christmas tree. Every animal deserves a home. Whiskers purred by the window, watching volunteers greet visitors with joy, and new families adopting dogs and cats. His heart felt warm and peaceful, like he somehow knew his wish had come true. That evening, Mr. Peter picked Whiskers up, and they looked at the starry sky together. One star sparkled brighter than all the rest. It looked just like the silver ornament. And then Peter whispered, "You see, Whiskers, true Christmas is when you're not alone." Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the story, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.